Hey, good morning. Welcome to our, what is this, December 2024 newsletter. Before I jump into what's going on around here, I just want to share with you a little something here, just be really open and honest about a fear that I have. And, missions in general is it can be pretty dangerous. I mean, we faced a lot of things here that were, life-threatening. I've driven through the center of this country during the war years when there were two, political factions fighting, and they were shooting cars and buses in the middle of the country with rocket launchers. And I drove through there with my whole family. Had Jen sitting there in the passenger seat with a baby in the tummy and one nursing at the breast, and the back seat full of kids. And we've driven through a military convoy like that. Just recently, Colt and I were abducted down in Popeye by some knuckleheads. And, there's all the usual stuff you face as missionaries. But there's one concern I have that is greater than those. And I just want to be gut level honest with you here. There's one thing it's just not wise to do. And, I'm 64. Back on the 10th of November, I turned 64. And one thing you just don't do at my age is you don't get in your car and drive 1 hour into the bush one way to preach the gospel to some people while you have diarrhea. Don't do it. That's all I'm going to say to you. It's not wise. Don't do it. Military convoys during the war years, child's play. Mambas, marauders, and malaria, cakewalk. But at 64, don't go 1 hour from the house one way with diarrhea. That's all I'm saying. Now, I'm going to move on from that to something else. I just wanted to clear that up first. Well, anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. I hope that was helpful. Anyway, I want to share some other stories. Me and Colt decided to go to Napatea, and our Bible cards that we have, we were able to add 50 of the Psalms to them. And before, the people that get the Bible cards, they had Genesis and they had Matthew to Revelation. Well, June Dickey has been working on the Psalms down in South Africa, and she had 50 of them ready in the Metu language. So I wanted to go back to Napatea. It had been a while since I've been there, and get all of their cards back that I'd given them and give them cards that had the Psalms on them. So me and Colt planned the trip. I drove my car. He rode the motorcycle, and we were going to go up there, and we came with extra cards also because people come and go, and there's new people that don't have them. And so we set out, and we're going to try to cross at the Messalo River, because if you cross not just at the Messalo River, but at Messalo Village at the Messalo River, it's only 7 or 8 kilometers through the bush to Napatea, and it's pretty easy drive, really, if you can cross there. So we got up early in the morning and left, got to the Messalo River, and found out the place that we normally cross there at Messalo. The rainy season and during the monsoon floods that happened during that time had made a very deep hole in the river bottom where we normally cross, where it's usually pretty shallow. And so it's deep all around, but now it's also deep in the place where we usually cross. And I was coming in the car, Colt rode on ahead of me, and he came back and said, "Dad, the place we usually cross is uncrossable." So we had a little powwow there, and we decided, you know what, we burned enough time, because, let me explain this to you. you can go where we go to the Messalo River. When you get to Manapo, the trail splits. You can go to the right, you go directly to Messalo village, or you can go left and go to a village called Nacharima, which is also up on the river, and there's Nacharima and then Nantata and Wampalele. Well, we had burned enough time going to Messalo village and backtracking that now we didn't have enough time to go the other route, because although we knew we could cross there, the pathway to Napatea was uncertain. We talked to some loggers there, and they said, yeah, there's a way to get there. And they kind of explained it, but it's, 30 or more miles, 50, 60 kilometers through the bush. And so someone just trying to give you directions doesn't work. So we're like, no, if we're going to go that way, we start again very early in the morning and maximize our time. So when we set up to go back the second time, we this time brought Aria, my chief Mozambican translator who translates into Meto. So I speak Portuguese to him and he translates it into Meto for them, because most of them speak Meto only. There are some there that speak Portuguese, but the majority don't speak it very well. So we took Aria and a young kid here in Balama, Mozambican named Salia, who's been helping me with the ministry, very helpful young man. So we set off that morning, and we are able to cross at Nacharima. There's a rock land bridge at the bottom of the river. It's under the water, but it's hard. And it only comes about halfway up the motorcycle tire where the water comes over, and you can ride across it or push it across it, however you want, but you can get across. So we get across, and we start heading down that loggers trail, trying to get to Napatea that way. And we rode for a long time. And I'm looking at my GPS, and I can see Napatea over here, and we have left, and we're going this way. So Napatea is here, and we're going this way. And I'm going, at some point, this thing has to make a curve and come back this way. But we are literally, Napatea, look at the GPS, is directly north, and we are going west-northwest. And we drove for a long time, and then we hit a T in the trail where you could either go west or east, and we turned east. Now we're going in the direction of Napatea, but we're a long way from it. And I've told you this before, but north of the Messalo River, the tsetse fly are terrible. They can drill through blue jeans, leather jackets. The only protection you have is to keep your motorcycle at 35 to 40 kilometers per hour or faster. They don't fly that fast. So when you're on heavy trail that's requiring you to stop and negotiate corners and stuff, they're on you. Then you got to zip when you get a straightaway and start slapping like crazy, try to get them off there. And when they bite, they leave a hole. I mean, it's bleeding where they bite. They're nasty little creatures. And if you get enough tsetse fly bites, you're like, my name's Brad. And you're kind of messed up for 2 to 3 days. They give you sleeping sickness. So anyway, we take off and we're booking it. Man, we are flying down the trail, swatting and slapping. We finally are heading east now. And then when the GPS says we're still about 10 kilometers from Napatea, we come to a big clearing that the loggers made. And besides the trail that we came into this big clearing on, there are 5 exiting trails. And we don't know which one is which. And we've already been going a long time, and it's starting to get late. And so we collectively made a decision. Turn around, get on the throttle fast. The tsetse flies are eating us alive. Because when we stop just to make the decision, they're on you. So we turn around, zipping back down the trail. Long, long day. We've already been in the saddle a long time. Back to Balama. Regroup. Recover for a couple of days. And then me and Colt and Aria and Celia start back this time. We're going to go to the Messalo village at the Messalo River. And our plan is that we, the 4 of us, will just carry one bike, 4 people on one bike, and carry our motorcycles across. We'll probably be chest deep in the water, but we'll try to keep the carburetors up out of the water so we don't drown the motorcycles, and carry them across one at a time and then go that way. So we go and we arrive at the river, and while we're getting ready, Colt just happens to see a little trail off to the left, and while we're preparing to start carrying bikes across, he walks through that trail, and there is another crossing where the water isn't deep, that apparently people on bicycles have been using. And we didn't see it the few days earlier when we were there. We're like, eh. So anyway, we go that way and cross, and although it's really steep down with a heavy turn, we make it no problem, and we get across there and went to Napatea, changed out all the Bible cards, gave them the new Bible cards with the 50 Psalms. And by the way, the people here have been loving those Psalms. I might play you a clip of them singing one of the Psalms in Makua a little later in this video. I'll probably do that for you. Anyway, we make it there, and we caught some loggers there that didn't have cards, and was able to get them the cards, and gave out Bibles, also the hard copy Bibles for those that didn't have them, and had a good time visiting with the people there and sharing, and then we came back home. Well, I want to share also with you about, just very quickly, my two older sons, Kanon and Gunnar, came to visit with their wives here a little while back, and brought my granddaughter, what a cutie pie, with them. And my daughter-in-law, Heidi, was also pregnant at the time. So while they were here, she had a nursing baby, and she was pregnant. Well, while they're here, I had a trip planned to go back, and I wanted to show the Jesus film in Napatea, and they all wanted to go, mainly because they came here to help with the ministry and to encourage us. So for those of you who supported them getting here, thank you. They were extremely helpful. They helped me a lot. It was a huge blessing to our family. So anyway, while they're here, we plan a trip back. And so we get ready to go. We're going to go. The plan is we are on, how many motorcycles did we go on? 3 motorcycles and my truck, if I'm remembering this correctly. I think that was it. So, and the plan is we're going to go back to Messalo village and try to get our truck down that steep place, and then go to Messalo that way. The problem is, it's easy to fall into something. Getting out's another story, and we didn't know if we could. So we decided, hey, we're going to go, and we'll make a plan. If we cannot get the car back out, we're just going to make a plan. So anyway, we go, and we make it to Napatea, and Kanon Gunnar and the girls were there with their wives. And we had a good time during the day ministering. There were some logging people. Their tractor had broken down, and so they were there working on the tractor. We was able to share with them. We spent the night there when we showed the Jesus film. And so those loggers that were stuck there with their broke equipment, they got to watch the Jesus film. And of course, we made sure that all of them had Bibles and Bible cards. So the next morning, we get up and have breakfast and serve the people there some food also. And we start heading back. And we get to the Messalo River. And, rolling down that embankment that we came in on, it didn't seem that steep rolling in. But now that we're at the bottom looking up, it looked really steep. So, quite frankly, I didn't think the car could get out of it. So I told Kanon Gunnar, I said, this is our plan. this is what we're going to do. We're going to try to get this car out. But if we can't get it out, Kanon, you're going to put your wife on one motorcycle, and Gunnar, you're going to put your wife and baby on the other motorcycle, and y'all will get you up that hill, and then y'all just go home. And me and Colt and Warrior will turn around, go back to Napatea, and try to find the route out that goes out to the east that we tried to get in. Remember, we came in and got to that clearing where there was the tsetse flies and couldn't get out. I said, we'll try that, and if it doesn't work, we'll go west, try to make it to Lusaka, and then Ndola, and then Nairotu, and back to Montepuez, and see if we can get out that way. We didn't know if we could, but I said, we'll do one of those. And if none of those work, hey, we'll see you in a few months at the end of the rainy season. So anyway, had Colt and Warrior and Kanon Gunnar doing a lot of work with it's called an enxada. It's a short-handled hoe the local people use here, and shovels, trying to get as much preparation as we could do to that ramp to get the truck out. The reason it was difficult, if you can get a long running start, you know, you're in a 4x4, you put foot, and if you can get a long running start, get up a lot of speed, you know, your momentum will carry you a ways. The problem is, the slope starts right at the river. So you're going through the river, you can only go so fast, and then you got to start up. Well, it started up at a very steep angle, and then it got very steep, and you had to make a heavy left turn. And right as you made the left turn, there was a steep uphill also. So when you made it, your front tires would hit it, and the car would, boom, jump up, and the rear tires would lose traction, and you come back down. Now, that's the way I saw it happening, and I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure we're not going to get this car back out of here. But we had them dig and dig and dig, and I don't remember who we left in the car. I said, everybody's welcome to get out, or if you want to have the fun of trying to bust up that hill. I don't remember who stayed with me. Seemed like one of the girls may have rode up. I don't remember. But anyway, so I backed up as far as I could on the other side of the river, because on the other side, when you cross, there's an embankment, and there's two huge boulders, and you had to go between the embankment and the boulder and then make a very sharp turn back to the left and climb a steep ridge to get out, which I know the car could do because that's how we left. But when I'm coming back to try to get a running start on this other hill, can't do it. You come around those boulders, now you're in the river. And then you got to ease across the river, and then as soon as your tires start exiting, then get on the gas hard. But as soon as you're going up, you got to make that heavy left turn and hit that little embankment. So I had Colt and the other guys digging like crazy, Warrior and Kanon Gunnar, dig to try to get as much of that bump off of that as they could. And I backed up, said a prayer, and blitzed it up that hill and made it. And so we got out, had a successful trip, got back home, praise the Lord. Got the Bible cards out with the Psalms, showed the Jesus film to some people up there who had not seen it, got the gospel out. And again, for you people that helped make it possible for Kanon and Gunnar to come, thank you very much. They were a huge blessing to us. Okay, I'll share some other stuff with you here in just a minute. Hey, just also wanted to give you a quick update about our new church plant in Nitulu. The church is doing great, by the way. Baptized a husband and wife here a week or so ago that came. The church is growing every week. It's doing great. And they, without any, now I don't actually care if they do this, but I didn't ask them to do it. They have built themselves a church building. It's a mud hut, but it's a pretty big one. Most of your mud churches here in the bush are rather small. And then if a church happens to grow a lot, like the church I planted down in Maku, they just opened the back of the church up and made it 1/3 bigger because they couldn't get everybody in there. But usually that only happens with church. The church grows until it's too big. Well, in Nitulu, they just started out with a big hut. I mean, it's very large. It's much larger than the people they have, but I think it just means that God's going to send the people, and that church is really going to fly. So, I mean, it's doing great now, but now they have room. And it's a good thing they have room because the rainy season be upon us. This is, we're into the December 1st here, and the rains be upon us. And I prefer in all of my churches to meet outside under a tree. You can see there's light. It's cool. Inside those mud churches, it's dark and it's hot. And then when the people start doing their church dances on that dirt floor that is very dry, a dust cloud rises and it just, well, not my favorite. But anyway, so they built them a building. I didn't ask them to do it. And so they're taking initiative, but the church is doing great. Just wanted to share that with you for those of you who might have thought to pray for the church plant in Nitulu. Just letting you know that your prayers are working and that church is doing great. Thanks. Hey, I just wanted to share some other stuff with you also. We love this country and we pray for the peace of Mozambique. Mozambique has beautiful people and they're receiving the gospel really well here, and the gospel is going out in power. Right now the country is suffering a bit. They had their presidential election here recently, and I don't care what country you're in, there's always a party that wins and a party that loses, and the losing party is usually not very happy and the party that wins is very happy. That's the same in a football game. Somebody wins, somebody loses, somebody happy, somebody isn't. Well, the unhappy party that lost here has been calling for riots and stuff in the country, and that's been going on, and there's been a lot of difficulties with that. I won't say any more about that. You know how that stuff goes. But so we were in Montepuez a week or so ago, maybe about a week and a half. And I brought the kids over for a missionary youth group meeting. All the missionary kids in the area meet and have a youth group where they'll have some Bible time together and worship time and do some fun stuff. And anyway, I brought the kids over for that. And we were coming back, and we had very tough tires on our Land Rover. They're 4x4 tires, and they're very heavy built. They're in the designation for the tire, like a 275 15 R70 or whatever, R70 R15. They're LT, which means light truck, which means the corpus, the body of the tire, is built very heavy. So these tires, now all sidewalls on a tire are delicate, but to punch a hole in the bottom of one of those tires, it's rare. I mean, they are just bulletproof. They're very, very heavy, tough tires. Well, we're about halfway home late at night coming back from that meeting, and we hit something in the road. I don't know what it was, but it was very sharp, and it was extremely durable because it ripped a hole about that big, just ripped it out of the bottom of the tire, a tire that's not supposed to happen to. So I don't know what kind of titanium knife we ran over, but anyway, so I didn't pull over right there because it's not uncommon for bandits around here to leave stuff in the road, to blow tires out, and then when you stop, they rob you. So I never stop. If I have a blowout, I never stop right there. I always go further. So the village of Mapapulu was not that far. It was only it was less than a kilometer ahead. So, my Land Rover was all-time forward drive. I just stayed on the gas, and we got a tire, blah, 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 but we just kept going. Made it to Mapapulu. So now we got to change the tire. And my high lift jack is on the roof rack. It's bolted on. And for some reason, we had taken out the wrenches out of I never travel in the Rover without a complete socket set and a complete wrench set. On this trip, I forgot to put them in there. So I can't get the high lift jack off the rack to change the tire. But we always have a hydraulic little bottle jack up under the back seat of the Rover, and that was taken out. We have no way to change this tire. And here we are in the dark in this village at a time when the country at any time is just erupting in riots. I have all the kids in the car. It's late at night, and I can't change this tire. So I quickly called Chad Westerholm, who's a missionary in Montepuez. I said, and it was late. I felt so bad calling him. I said, Chad, can you please bring me a bottle jack? I'm on the side of the road. People are starting to gather around. Could you please? So he hopped in his car. It was maybe a 30-minute drive, and he came very, very quickly, and we got the tire changed. So that was very helpful. We got it done, got out of there, and the Lord took care of us. But along the same note, just to see how the Lord's taking care of us, for Thanksgiving celebration in Montepuez with all the other missionaries, while we were having the Thanksgiving celebration, the other party that did not win, that's unhappy, was staging protests and blocked the entrance to the city. No way in, no way out, and we're in. And as the Lord would have it, we just went late enough with the Thanksgiving celebration that they all got tired of rioting, and we just hopped in the car and we're like, okay, we're going to go that way, and if we get through, we get through, and if we don't, we'll turn around and come back here and make a plan. But by the time we got to the place where we had the road blocked, they'd all got tired, decided they wanted to have dinner, and they left, and we got through and got home. So once again, the Lord has taken very good care of us, which, my goodness, we've been here 20 years now doing this, and the stories of the Lord's keeping us alive and taking care of us in difficult circumstances is absolutely amazing. And by the way, this ain't our first time to be, we were leaving Nelspruit one time in South Africa, and we come and there's logs across the road, and the logs are burning, and we're going, what? So I didn't want to pull up too close, but I pulled up close enough that some of the protesters there could walk to the car. And I just cracked my window and I said, we would really like to get by. Would you mind moving some of those logs just for a minute? And they said, well, we can't move them. They said, we're not mad at you, but the city's doing something we don't like, and da-da-da, we're protesting. So if we let you through, it shows weakness. I'm like, okay, I appreciate that. And we had to turn around and backtrack. I don't know how long it was. It was a long way to go. We were trying to go home to Mozambique, and we had to go way back into South Africa and around to get home. So yeah, coming across, burning roadblocks, yawn, been there, done that. But on Thanksgiving night, they got tired and went home, and we got through, and we got home after a wonderful celebration with our friends there. And so God be praised for his kindness. Hey, we love you guys, and thanks for listening to the video, or if you're doing this, reading the newsletter instead of watching it, thanks for reading. God bless you, and we'll talk to you next time. Thanks.